where ancient wisdom and modern research converge. Divine science emerges. Could the power of thought literally reshape the universe around us? Imagine if every whisper of the mind had the potential to alter the fabric of reality itself. This intriguing possibility challenges our understanding of the mind's relationship with the physical world. What profound secrets might we unlock about our inner power and our unique impact on reality?
I think that the idea that thoughts can help shape the world around us has 2 points that we can really look at. One is ancient metaphysical teachings that have always said that the mind is all, and that the physical world around us is created through thoughts within the mind of the all. Then, in modern days, we also have quantum physics. And quantum physics has this notion called the observer effect. There's certain ways that we can harness the observer effect and use it to direct what possibilities, which are infinite, come out of the quantum field. And so by our mind and our thoughts and our expectations, all of these things influence what we manifest from the infinite possibilities of the quantum field.
Quantum mechanics tells us that things are either in a state of position, a particle, or a state of angular momentum, a wave, and that our perception of whatever it is, measuring the experiment, causes that to collapse. And this is often what's used to explain how thoughts can affect the real world. If I hold a particular vision in my mind with astounding clarity, I'm literally radiating out that information into the structure of space, which may in fact cause the entangled structure of particles outside of me to begin to match the vision that's going on inside of my head. I am in a two-way communication with the rest of the universe all the time.
The way that we do that is through the self-regulation of this soft technology within our bodies, feeding the heart the information, the feelings of gratitude, appreciation, care, compassion that tell the brain what kind of chemistry to send into the body is also an energetic signal that we are sending into the field around us.
What so many in the mainstream are missing that are studying this question of consciousness is what alternative science and parapsychology has been exploring and has known for decades, which is that our thoughts can affect matter. That's hugely important because it completely changes the way we think about what is the nature of consciousness. It's clearly not just an illusion or an epiphenomena produced by the brain. There's something more to it, because if there was not, how could it go outside of itself and affect, physical systems? There's decades of research, very good research by qualified people, showing a statistically significant effect on sensitive physical systems that are correlated with conscious intention. There's just no way to explain these without expanding your perspective on what consciousness is. I believe that consciousness is the foundational level of reality itself. Some call it panpsychism, or the idea that mind is everything, that the entire cosmos is suffused with sentience, and that it's, in some sense, consciousness that gives rise to matter, not the other way around.
In the 1970s and 80s, the Stanford Research Institute conducted pioneering research into remote viewing and psychic phenomena, notably involving Uri Geller, known for his mind-over-matter abilities, like spoon bending. Key figures in this project included physicists Russell Targ and Harold Puthoff, who sought to scientifically test these abilities under controlled conditions, and Dr. Christopher Kit Green, who was involved in assessing the research's implications for the CIA. This research was codenamed Project Stargate, a U.S. government program to investigate psychic phenomena for potential military and psychic spying applications.
The experiments in Stanford Research Institute conducted by these scientists for the CIA and the American Defense Department, they were all done under laboratory-controlled conditions. Actually, one of the scientists, Russell Targ, was a magician, so he knew trickery and so on. They built a Faraday cage, or maybe they already had a Faraday cage at Stanford, and I sat in this Faraday cage in this shielded room. Now, while these experiments were going on, I managed to affect the computers in the basement of Stanford. The rumor is that I erased computer tapes, and that's when the CIA say, "What? He can erase computer tapes with his mind." And then I did experiments with floppy disk, where I put my hand over the floppy disk, because there were floppy disks then, and I would erase the information. This was vital for the CIA, because later on I did erase computer tapes that KGB agents were taking out of Mexico City with secret information.
The idea of thoughts shaping consciousness is a very controversial area, and I would argue much of this was classified until it was released by my colleague Russell Targ in 1995. But prior to that, Stanford Research Institute, the most predominant think tank, specialized in mind over matter studies. This is illustrated in a book that my wife and I co-wrote with Dr. Elizabeth Rauscher, one of the leading mathematicians and physicists. In short, this book is the real X-Files story of how consciousness can be seen as a tool of communication.
In the realm of conscious intention studies, Lynn McTaggart has emerged as a pivotal figure. Her groundbreaking mass intention experiments have demonstrated the remarkable power of focused thoughts, guiding small groups in harnessing their collective intentions. McTaggart has evidenced significant impacts on the safety and well-being of communities across the globe. Her work does more than illuminate the profound influence of concentrated thought. It reshapes our understanding of its capacity to alter reality.
I don't deal in mass meditation. I deal in mass intention. And the reason it's different has a lot to do with what happens in the brain when you do an intention in a group. Whether it's the small groups, which I call Power of 8, or thousands of people around the world who've taken part in my 40+ intention experiments, what happens is parts of the brain involved in making us feel separate turn off. They are dialed way down. Parietal lobes that sit in the back of the head, they help us navigate through space. They are dialed way down. So are the right frontal lobes that are involved with worry, doubt, and negativity. So in a mass intention experiment, what we've measured using neuroscientists and measuring brain waves is that people doing this are in a state of ecstatic oneness. The brainwave signatures are almost identical to those that have been studied by the University of Pennsylvania on Sufi masters involved in chanting and also Buddhist monks involved in ecstatic prayer. So our people are in a state of ecstatic oneness, what Abraham Maslow, the famous psychologist, called peak experiences.
Lynn McTaggart wrote a book entitled The Field, describing the existence of a field that underlies all of creation and our relationship to that field that underlies all existence that we are a part of. The success for peace as well as healing tells us that this relationship exists. It's beyond coincidence that these things are happening, and it opens the door to a very, very different way of thinking for all of us. As we choose to have peace in our world and peace in our communities and our societies, the healing in the bodies of our loved ones, we are only powerless victims if we choose to be, and if we choose to actively participate in the beautiful outcomes we know are possible. We now have the avenue, the pathway, the tools and the techniques that tell us precisely how to do that.
One of the amazing things that I've seen with my intention experiments in particular are physical healings. When people do intention for somebody else or something else, this has occurred particularly with my peace intention experiments. But with every intention experiment, when I've surveyed people, I've discovered not only are their lives more peaceful, but a third to 40% report some sort of illness is completely healed or they're better. And I've thought about that. I've also thought a lot about the fact that their lives become more peaceful.
This is not just an idea. We have seen change in blood pressure, people who are, for example, with heart disease. We have seen those who practice transcendental meditation. Over 5 years, there is 45% less accidents of the heart and less deaths even. That is even those who practiced irregularly. And when we looked at those who practiced twice a day regularly, there was as much as 66% reduction in accidents and strokes and cardiovascular disease and in deaths also. So the effect is very real, is very much studied and followed up and scientifically demonstrated.
The power of our thoughts extends far beyond personal well-being, reaching into the fabric of society itself. This profound impact is encapsulated in the Maharishi effect, a concept introduced by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. It suggests that collective meditation isn't just a personal sanctuary, but a transformative tool capable of reducing societal issues such as crime and violence, benefiting both individuals and communities at large.
This is what we have been studying for now 50 years. Through different experiments, we have found that when a small percentage of people practice the transcendental meditation together, or even separately, depending on the number of people, there are changes that happen in society. There is a decrease in conflict, decrease accidents of the road, decrease crime and problems, and followed up by scientific analysis and statistics.
So the Maharishi effect showed that if at least 10% of the population of a local area were to come together and meditate in a group coherent field, they could have a significant impact on the level of harmony within that region.
Ongoing research into the Maharishi effect uncovered a remarkable shift. The effective percentage needed decreased, first to 1%, and then astoundingly, to even less than 1%. According to the theory, even a small, coherent group meditating together with a unified purpose can create a significant field of positive coherence extending beyond the group, influencing and benefiting the wider community.
For example, a laser beam is a very coherent beam of light. The frequencies of light can be exactly the same like any bulb producing light. The difference between laser and the light is that the waves are coherent together. What is interesting is that it's enough that a small percentage, even 1% or less, there is a formula, that become coherent, and then all the other waves align themselves and become coherent also.
At our Gaia studio, consciousness researcher and AI developer Adam Curry set up a simple intention experiment. Including the 6 production crew members who were present, they collectively focused their positive thoughts and emotions, like love and gratitude, on one of two water vials for about 3 minutes. These vials were connected to an electro-interstitial scan machine, recording the water's impedance, a measure of molecular coherence.
So this is a very progressive and interesting mind-matter interaction experiment that I'm going to demonstrate. So I'm adding just plain bottled water, and we're going to measure the conductivity in each, and we'll show that there's a significant difference in the vial of water that received our intention. 10 milliliters into the other one. And now the impedance spectrometer is connected to a computer, so we're going to run a baseline. So now we have a baseline, and we're going to pick one of these vials to send our intention to for a couple of minutes. So we've chosen to send our intention into this vial here. Now you can pick however you'd like to send your intention. You could send the intention to be that the water becomes more coherent. You can send it love, you can send it gratitude or appreciation. All of these things work. The point is that you want to direct your intention into the water vial for a couple of minutes. So now that we've sent our intention into the vial, we're going to rerun the EIS machine and see if there's any differences between the two samples. On the screen, you'll see a red line, the sample of water into which we sent our intention, and a black line, the control. And what you'll see here is that there's almost a 2 kiloohm difference in the conductivity of the water. I believe that this experiment is one of several that are really going to represent the future of consciousness research with respect to mind-matter interaction. We're starting to see that there might be something like the emergent explanation or a framework for understanding how mind-matter interaction might be possible.
Remarkably, after the intention session, the vials showed significantly different impedance characteristics, which resist conventional explanation. These findings, achieved with identical water samples and equipment, demonstrate the profound impact of collective consciousness on physical matter, suggesting potential quantum-level interactions.
If you become convinced that thoughts can affect matter, either through the experiments or through looking at your own life, there are new possibilities that open up, one of which is called subtle activism. And that's where yourself and groups of other people in some coordinated way in your community or around the world get together and they have coherent thoughts, maybe coherent thoughts with an intention. For example, world peace or nuclear de-escalation or the reduction of crime or the healing of somebody who's sick. So there does seem to be something to this idea that there's a collective consciousness and that the introduction of coherent thinking, of coherent and pointed consciousness, actually can drive effects in the world.
Further evidence suggesting the impact of thoughts and emotions on the physical world comes from the Japanese alternative medicine practitioner, Dr. Masaru Emoto. In the late 1990s, Emoto's experiments involved photographing water crystals that were exposed to a range of emotional stimuli, from positive to negative thoughts. His work suggests that these emotions could materially affect the water's crystalline structure, thus raising a significant implication. If our thoughts can affect the quality of water externally, does that suggest that our thoughts can affect the state of our bodies, which are approximately 60% water?
Where the positive emotions like love and gratitude were transmitted to the water, it formed beautiful, symmetric water crystals, that look kind of like snowflakes, but they were slightly different. And then there was the ones where it was negative energy like hate or anger. It was distorted. It didn't form a beautiful pattern of symmetry, which most water crystals would naturally form symmetry, but it was very clear that there was toxicity put into it by our human emotion or thought that was given to that water.
If you want to change your state of health, your state of strength, or any aspect of your body, It simply requires changing the level of thinking and communication that you're doing with your own body. Many of us send our bodies judgments all the time. We condition our bodies by giving ourselves hard feedback, telling ourselves the things we should be or should do better. When we change this to teaching and entraining our bodies to the idea that we are healthy, that we are strong, that we are good people, that we are beautiful, we actually create the conditions in our body to have that experience in life.
Another compelling example demonstrating the influence of thoughts on healing and well-being is the phenomenon of the placebo effect.
The placebo effect is a really great example of how our thoughts can affect our outcome. I mean, the typical example is that they're running a clinical trial upon a particular new medicine or drug, and they give certain group of people that new medicine, and then they have a control group of people who get a sugar pill. And the group that's getting the actual medicine needs to show that there's an effect that is greater than the placebo effect. And the placebo effect shows that basically about half the people who got the sugar pill believed that they were getting the actual pill and their conditions improved.
The placebo effect is massive. Everyone agrees that it's massive, right? But if you look at the mind-matter interaction experiments, you start to see how you can maybe provide an explanation for this. If it's your belief systems that are extending out into your body, maybe affecting the water in your body, which in turn affects the balance of signaling solutions and salts in your body, which in turn affects different type of chemical processes and so forth, you could really be driving outcomes ultimately based on your own belief systems and your own internal reactions to things.
The idea that thoughts can change matter opens up a realm of intriguing implications and possibilities.
The broadest implication is that the power's in your hands, that you get to step into the driver's seat of your life and you become that creator of your life. And I think that's the most important thing, is to recognize that the power is within. So be responsible for your thoughts.
And I believe that we can literally, by our mind, transform and heal the planet, bringing peace to various places, literally by thinking, by changing, by projecting ourselves there and transforming the energy of consciousness that's negative into energies of peace, understanding, and compassion.
As a practical everyday note, just remember that if your thoughts are influencing the matter around you, they're also influencing the people around you. So how you hold others in your mind is important. The way you think about them, it can actually affect how they feel and what's going on inside of them. We are more telepathic than we imagine. And with telepathy comes telekinesis. And this is a power that we must learn how to harness very carefully, consciously, and with great ethical consideration.
If you spend enough time either researching the science or looking at your own life objectively, I think you will come away with the knowledge that your thoughts have power. You've got real consciousness that's connected to everything and everyone, and I don't think that it takes much to engage in subtle activism and really push towards peaceful, better alternatives in ways that there are no power structures really that can interfere with it. One should feel empowered by this information, and also one should practice it.
Every one of the cells in my body right now, and your body as you're watching us, are collapsing and emerging into the field. That means the field's not out there. We are the field. And what that suggests is that what we choose to experience in the world, we must become within ourselves. And this is one of the most fundamental principles. If we want that change out there, how do you feed the change out there? You become the change because you're feeding the field.
In a world where thoughts can shape reality, what does this mean for the future of humanity? Are we ready to embrace the power that lies within our own minds? This notion not only redefines our understanding of personal and global well-being, but also invites us to step into a future where our conscious intentions are integral to shaping our collective destiny. Join us for more episodes on Divine Science, where we continue exploring the crossroads of modern research and ancient wisdom.